is happening, people, and welcome to today's video. Now, after the last opinion video that I did where I talked about when and how to utilize the dead stop deadlift versus the touch and go deadlift, I got so many responses and it really opened my mind and made me look at things a little bit different, and I really enjoyed that. So I thought I would make another one. So for today's video, I would love if each one of you wanted to play along and rank these 4 deadlifts from worst to best. Now, your 4 deadlift choices are the conventional deadlift, the sumo deadlift, the trap bar deadlift, and the Zercher squat from the floor. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but that's not a deadlift. However, the movement does start with a deadlift from the floor, and it works so many of the same muscles, not to mention the fact that the idea of doing an actual Zercher deadlift is not really possible for so many people because of the mobility, myself included. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm certainly not trying to limit you on your Mount Rushmore of deadlifts here. So if there is another deadlift that you utilize all the time and you like more than those top 4 choices, then please feel free to do a write-in vote. That is completely fine. However, I am trying to stay away from things like a deficit deadlift, a rack pull or a block pull, stiff-legged deadlift, Romanian deadlift, stuff like that, because I would consider all of those more variations of the traditional deadlift. But there are going to be some honorable mentions. For me, 2 deadlifts that almost made the list were the gladiator deadlift, because I absolutely love that movement. It does tend to fix a lot of people's back problems, and I absolutely adore the rotational aspects for all the functionality and everything else that that deadlift does provide. However, you cannot go very heavy, so I wouldn't consider it in the same category as the other traditional deadlifts. I would put that more as an assistance exercise. And then I also wanted to add the Jefferson deadlift, because so many people rave about this thing. And what you're seeing right here are actually the first Jefferson deadlifts that I've ever done in my entire life, and to be honest with you, I don't even know if I'm doing them right. However, this is all of my experience with it, so it is extremely limited. But if you love the Jefferson deadlift, please add that to your list. But also tell me why, because I don't really understand too much about it, but I'd love to hear your opinions. Now, the best part about this is that so many people's answers are going to be different, because everyone utilizes deadlift for different reasons. People have different limitations, people have different preferences, so there are going to be so many different answers. So if you want to play along, and I truly hope that you do, in the comment section down below, list your top 4 deadlifts from worst to best, and if you want to tell me why, that'd be awesome. So there is no real standard criteria for how you're gonna choose to rank your top 4 deadlifts, but for me personally, I am a super pragmatic guy, and almost all of my training these days revolves around functionality. So I'm always gonna choose to utilize deadlifts that kind of translate over to real world activities in my real life. So with that in mind, coming in at number 4, I'm sure this doesn't come as a surprise to anyone, is the sumo deadlift, of course. And the reason why is because I can truly not think of one time in my life that I'm ever gonna pick something up from a true sumo position. I think sumo deadlift is great if you're involved in powerlifting, because a lot of people can lift more with sumo than they can conventional. And of course, you want to throw in sumo sometimes because it is going to hit your muscles in a different sort of way, so why the heck not? I personally believe that it shortens the range of motion and restricts the amount of hypertrophy that you can get from this movement, and to be completely honest with you, I look stupid doing it. Now, maybe you are the one individual in the world that looks cool doing the sumo deadlift, but I am not. So for me, it comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is going to be the trap bar deadlift. Now, I absolutely love the trap bar deadlift because it is allowing a ton of lifters who could not, because of medical reasons, or choose not to learn a more traditional deadlift. It has them doing some sort of deadlift movement. Most athletes can move more weight on the trap bar than they can with a normal front-loaded deadlift. However, it is just simply not for me. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I have never really used a trap bar deadlift in my entire career. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the trap bar is awesome, and I think it is a lot easier to teach new lifters this movement, and it keeps many athletes much more safe than a traditional deadlift. However, for me personally, I only use side handles when I am doing farmer's walks or a car deadlift or picking up a wheelbarrow. I really can't think of other times in your life when you actually pick something up from the sides like that on each side of your body. So if you absolutely adore the trap bar deadlift, I think that is great. All I'm saying is don't sleep on the other types of deadlifts, otherwise you're doing your training a pretty big disservice. Coming in at number 2, even though it really hurts my heart, it's going to be conventional. In my personal opinion, I think the conventional deadlift is one of the best builders of your posterior chain, which is going to make you better at virtually every single thing in your life. I think you can add more strength. I think you can add more muscle than the first two variations that I mentioned, and I believe that this is more functional because you are actually picking up things out in front of you, which is the exact same way that you help someone move a couch, right? You don't do it from the sides, you don't do it from sumo position. This is how you pick most things up in your life outside of stuff like strongman movements and sandbags. I think the conventional deadlift is one of the most functional exercises that you can do. Not to mention the fact that there is just something cool about someone getting in a huge struggle bus battle against a bent bar and a ton of weight, and when they finally lock it out, I think it just looks cool. I think it is awesome. However, I did need to place it at number 2. And finally, you already know because of the process of information coming in, at number 1 is going to be the Zercher squat from the floor. Now, I used to hate on the Zercher squat more than anyone else in the lifting community because I thought the front squat was a better option, and I still do think that the front squat is a good bit harder than the Zercher squat, but I do believe the Zercher has a lot of benefits that the front squat doesn't necessarily address. The Zercher squat from the floor requires balance, athleticism, coordination, pain tolerance, and if you ask me, I personally believe that it builds more functional strength than the other deadlifts that I just mentioned. If you see someone in the gym doing a heavy Zercher squat from the floor, you can guarantee that that person has spent a lot of time in the trenches. You can guarantee that they're strong all over their body, and they're absolutely not going to let a little bit of pain stop them from achieving what they want to achieve. I'm looking at you, trap bar people. I truly believe that this lift is more realistic and relatable to real life functional activities. And like I said, I used to hate on this lift all the time, but once I started it, I absolutely fell in love, and now I will never not do it again. Do not let a little bit of pain in your arm stop you from utilizing this exercise. You will acclimate extremely quickly. I don't even notice anything in my arms anymore, but if you are not using the Zercher squat from the floor in your current programming, you are doing yourself a great disservice. All right, so there is my Mount Rushmore of the top 4 basic deadlifts, and I'd love to get your opinion down below. Remember, you do not need to be restricted to just those 4. You can do write-in votes, you can do whatever you want, but please do stay away from those variations. But if you want to play along in the comment section down below, please list from the worst to the best, and if you want to tell me why, that would be absolutely amazing, because I love hearing all of your opinions because it does open my mind. It makes me look at things a different sort of way, and hearing what all of you have to say, the viewers of this channel, really does help me develop new content that you want to see. I have some absolutely incredibly just insane things happening in my life right now, especially starting next week, that I'm super excited to share with you. I'm not going to tell you yet, but they are coming up. And also, I am actually in my practicum for my clinical mental health program, so I'm able to take on counseling clients, coaching clients, consulting clients. So if you are interested in working with me, just email me at neversay@gmail.com and we'll set up some time. But everything is going awesome. I absolutely love speaking to all of you. Calls have really exploded in like the last, I'd say probably like 3 weeks. Like I literally am booked out for a while. So if you do want to get on my schedule, please email me and then we will set up some time. I love helping everybody. I love meeting everyone, and just, it's been absolutely incredible. I thank you for all of you who do the other things that support channel, like buying the ebooks, the likes, the subscribes, the shares, the everything that you do. Even just watching these videos means the absolute world to me. I could not do any of this, and I could not live the life of my dreams without each and every single one of you. So I just want to take a second and say thank you. I will catch up with you later in the week. Until I do go out to something amazing, realize, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. I'll see you then.